Good day. I hope everyone is doing well. Today we are going to take a look at 10 interesting facts about Qui-Gon Jinn from Star Wars. He is one of my favorite Jedi Masters, so I am excited to do this video. Now, let's get into it.
Number 1.
Qui-Gon Jinn was a male human born on the galactic capital of Coruscant around 80 BBY, identified as a Force-sensitive. He was taken for training by the Jedi Order and was assigned to the Helios clan, where he learned lightsaber combat from Jedi Master Sinu. When Jinn was 12 years old, he was assigned as a Padawan to Jedi Master Dooku, from whom he learned the ways of the Force. He'd spent his last night in the youngling's creche laughing with his friends, imagining all the adventures he would have as a Padawan, and practicing with his lightsaber in the sparring room until Master Yaddle ordered him to bed.
Number 2.
Around 68 BBY, when he presented himself to his new master in Dooku's quarters, Dooku observed that Jinn was frightened. After a moment of silence, and with pressing from Dooku, Jinn confessed that he was. When asked why, after looking into himself through the fear, Jinn answered that he was not afraid of Dooku, but of not becoming a Jedi, that he was afraid of failing, and of not being worthy. Dooku then summarized it as Jinn being afraid of himself, of a future not being the one he wanted. Jinn confirmed it, fearing that Dooku would reject him for his cowardice. Dooku instead said that it was very wise, surprising Jinn. Smiling, Dooku explained that most Padawans would deny their fear, and even if they admitted it, they would not have Jinn's self-knowledge. Dooku further praised Jinn for his honesty, insight, and intelligence.
Number 3.
Sometime later, Jinn and his Jedi Master Dooku became part of a Numidian Prime strike team. They were assembled to track and find the notorious Valine bounty hunter Shenda Mole. They eventually tracked her at her hideout on the planet Numidian Prime. While searching for her hideout, Mole captured Jinn. Before Mole could kill Jinn, Dooku struck her down with Force lightning to save his apprentice, causing Jinn a degree of concern. Jinn later confided what Dooku did to Rael Avaris, though at the time, Avaris expressed that he was not all too concerned regarding his former master's conduct. At some point in his life after the mission, Jinn went through trials on Felucia, and, although his commitment was tested, he ultimately stayed loyal to the Jedi Order. At some point during his apprenticeship, Jinn met the Wookiee Brennan and befriended her. They shared many adventures together, with Brennan saving Jinn on 2 occasions. During the second of those adventures, events transpired that resulted in Jinn feeling as though they saved each other. He also came to know the Wookiee Balfus.
Number 4.
Jinn became a Jedi Master in his own right, a master who developed an independent attitude towards the Jedi Order. Others saw him as a maverick Jedi, one who would disobey the Jedi Code if he felt it was the right decision. Jinn eventually took on a Padawan named Obi-Wan Kenobi, who believed that Jinn could have been a member of the Jedi High Council if he followed the code, though as Kenobi knew, Jinn had rejected an offer to join. On one occasion, Kenobi watched in silence as his master told the council he disagreed with them. At another point, the master and apprentice sparred, with Jinn complimenting Kenobi's skill. On another occasion, the two visited a plane and overlooked its native creatures, giving Jinn the chance to teach Kenobi about how the Force existed in all the life that surrounded them.
Number 5.
Jinn was able to sense whenever Kenobi was discontent, which proved useful on some missions, yet also annoyed Kenobi. At one point, Jinn and Kenobi traveled to the planet Lamu to visit a fortress. Jinn had at least some contact with his old master after taking on Kenobi, and spoke highly of his Padawan to Dooku. However, Dooku left the Jedi Order after the invasion of Sereno, secretly becoming a Sith apprentice to the elusive Sith Lord Darth Sidious sometime later. At some point, Jinn met the Togorian Jedi Jackson, who had also looked up to Dooku. Jinn taught Kenobi as best he could, although Kenobi did not always agree with his master's teaching strategies. Despite his Padawan's clear proficiencies in lightsaber techniques, Jinn held Kenobi to practicing only basic methods, which impacted his apprentice's confidence in their relationship. Although Jinn did so, to not rush his apprentice, and allow Kenobi to carve out his own distinct style out of mastery of the fundamental cadences, his lack of clarity on his teaching philosophy hurt Kenobi.
Number 6.
Around 42 BBY, a civil war began to rage on the planet Mandalore, with the world's martial traditionalists fighting against a reformist faction known as the New Mandalorians. The leader of the New Mandalorian movement, Duchess Satine Kryze, became a target for the traditionalists, who hired bounty hunters to eliminate her. However, Jinn and Kenobi were sent on an extended mission to Mandalore, where they were assigned to protect Kryze. Jinn and Kenobi spent a year on Mandalore with Kryze, remaining on the run from the bounty hunters. The three remained unsure of what the future would bring, but they continued their effort to survive, living hand-to-mouth every day. During the mission, Kenobi developed romantic feelings for Kryz. Jinn became aware of the unlikely romance between his apprentice and the noble. Eventually, the Civil War came to an end, with the new Mandalorians coming to power and Kryz becoming the ruler of Mandalore. Although Kenobi would have left the Jedi and stayed behind to be with her had she had asked him to, Kryz never did, so he and Jinn left the planet.
Number 7.
Sometime during his life, Jinn began discovering the secrets to manifesting his consciousness after death. He traveled to a planet strong with the Force, a world that legends said was the birthplace of life and the origin of midi-chlorians. He learned from 5 Force priestesses who had retained their consciousness after death. He learned that, when a living thing died, its life passed through the living Force and into the cosmic Force to become one with the Force. As the living Force and cosmic Force existed in tandem, it became possible for one to retain consciousness and physically manifest themselves after death. Jinn was considered worthy of the knowledge of eternal life and secretly began his training to unlock its mysteries fully. He also learned from a shaman of the wills that achieving eternal consciousness required absolute selflessness.
Number 8.
At some point between 44 and 32 BBY, Jinn told Kenobi he would be taking him on a training exercise, keeping it secret that they would be going to observe the Wookiee celebration of Life Day on the planet Kashyyyk in the village of his old friend Brennan, who had accepted his offer to visit. After entering the village, Jinn advised his Padawan to remain patient after the young man expressed confusion, reminding him to focus on what was instead of what he had expected. Though Kenobi found it hard to focus amid a celebration, Jinn continued their visit, educating his Padawan about Wookiee culture, before asking what he made of it. Pleased with Kenobi's answer, that it was as if the Wookiees were celebrating the Force, he explained the unconventional training he wanted Kenobi to partake in. He was asking him to focus on the energy of Kashyyyk, given that it was the Force. He then informed his Padawan they would speak with the Wookiees, when Kenobi revealed he felt something different. Suddenly, the 2 Jedi were interrupted when Brennan spotted Jinn, resulting in the Wookiee hugging him from how such she had missed him. Jinn shared her sentiment and began to introduce her to Kenobi, only for her to hug him as well. After Jinn explained his history with the Wookiee to Kenobi and thanked her for letting them come, she told him that Balfus was missing. As Jinn inquired about what actions she had taken concerning the missing Wookiee, both he and Kenobi felt a disturbance in the Force. Several Trandoshan hunters suddenly attacked the village, launching nets from the trees to kidnap more Wookiees. Jinn and Kenobi fought against the Trandoshans, defeating many of them. However, Jinn himself was eventually captured when he demanded the hunters to surrender. Along with the captured Wookiees, Jinn was taken away by a MSP-80 Pteropter hover pod. Although Jinn, as he was taken away, had told Kenobi it was up to him to rescue the Wookiees, the Jedi Master tried to negotiate the Wookiees' release with the Trandoshans' leader, Qui-Gon. However, Qui-Gon wanted to capture Kenobi too, and Jinn warned him that his greed would have been his downfall. Jinn waited in his cage until Kenobi arrived. Kenobi pretended to surrender, but, when Qui-Gon was distracted, he opened Jinn's cage with the Force. Jinn Force pulled his lightsaber and ignited it. As Jinn was freed, many Wookiees arrived to support the 2 Jedi. The Trandoshans, being outnumbered, surrendered and freed the Wookiee prisoners. After returning to the village, the Life Day celebration began.
Number 9.
In the aftermath of the Battle of Naboo, in which the Naboo successfully captured the Viceroy and ended the Federation occupation, Kenobi was granted the Jedi Knight rank and insisted on taking Skywalker as his apprentice. Although Yoda disagreed, the Council approved Kenobi's request, fulfilling Jinn's dying wish. Skywalker would undergo Jedi training. Later, Jinn was memorialized when he was given a Jedi funeral on Naboo, where his body was cremated on a funeral pyre. Many delegates, including Queen Amidala, the Jedi Council, and Chancellor Palpatine, attended the funeral. At the funeral, Kenobi told Skywalker that the Council would allow him to be trained and that Kenobi would be his master. Together, the two mourned the death of their fallen friend, as Kenobi vowed that Skywalker would become a Jedi. Amongst the Jedi, Jinn was remembered as a great member of their order despite his past of disagreeing with the Council. Amidala, meanwhile, came to believe that her relationship with Jinn had been an odd one, given that he had seen through her disguise, yet she hoped she would have been able to consider him a friend and ally if he had survived. In the years following the Naboo crisis, she remained saddened by his death, and she made sure to light a candle of incense for the fallen Jedi during the yearly memorial for all who had died for Naboo. In fact, many others did the same. Though few on Naboo had met the Jedi Master, it was believed everyone on the world knew his name, with Naboo-like Tonra who had actually been present for many of the so-called stories about what had happened, hearing tales of what he did for their planet.
Number 10.
Though his training had been incomplete, Jinn utilized what he learned from the Force priestesses to become one with the Force and retain his identity after his death. However, he hadn't fully learned the mystery, so he could not physically manifest himself, only speak as a disembodied voice. Due to his incomplete training, Jinn's spirit couldn't physically manifest himself, but he occurred in a vision on one known occasion. Kenobi, Skywalker, and Tano had been lured to the planet Mortis by three beings, known as the Father, Son, and Daughter. These beings believed that Skywalker was the chosen one, as did Jinn, whose vision first appeared to Kenobi to warn him that the beings sought Skywalker and his potential as the chosen one, to use it for their own means. When Kenobi questioned how Jinn could appear, the figure told him that the planet acted as an amplifier, and that it was a conduit through which the Force flowed. The two spoke about Skywalker and his power, with Kenobi having the opportunity to tell Jinn that the late Jedi Master's predictions about Skywalker were true. He was stronger than any other Jedi, yet still could not find balance. Jinn warned that, if Skywalker were the chosen one, then the boy would discover it on Mortis. If not, then the planet would prove to be very dangerous for someone so powerful. Skywalker himself later experienced Jinn's vision. The figure of the late Jedi informed him that he still believed the boy would bring balance to the Force after facing his demons. There was a lot more information about Qui-Gon Jinn, but the video would have been too long and wouldn't be 10 interesting facts. What did you think of Qui-Gon Jinn? I wouldn't mind a TV series on a younger Qui-Gon. Thank you for watching the video, and thank you to our members. Consider subscribing to the channel and please consider becoming a member on our channel and get the videos earlier than everyone else. Take care and have a great day.